And we're back here on Open. The results are in after a make-or-break third Super Tuesday. The big winners, of course, Donald Trump for the Republican Party and Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party. After losing what he thought was a sure win in his home state of Florida, Marco Rubio has suspended his presidential campaign. Here to discuss this and much more are our political commentators, J.C. Polanco, Michael Benjamin, and Mariah Starr. We're going full boat today, and good to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Listen, I'm going to start off first with J.C. I'm not picking, but Marco Rubio, you did say was your candidate. Are you surprised at all by the fact that Marco Rubio now suspends his candidacy and no support in Florida?
No, I'm not surprised that he suspended his candidate. I am surprised that he did not have any support in Florida. I mean, this man is the senator from Florida. He was, in my view, the best candidate we had. And the polls demonstrated it, that he could beat Hillary Clinton by the widest margins. He was a phenomenal candidate. You know, he knew how to put sentences together, had great ideas, and knew government inside and out. And, you know, we didn't really give him a chance. The Republican Party went with a guy who is in my opinion, a complete political moron. Can't put two sentences together and doesn't know what he's saying. He's a Kanye West of politics today, with a little bit of Kim Kardashian. I think this is a disaster for the Republican Party, and I'm really saddened this morning. And Michael Benjamin knows what's going on. Everybody sent their condolences, including you.
I did send my condolences, but we'll talk about that later. Let me talk to you. Let me bring Mariah in here and talk about this here, because what happens is you saw what JC said about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, that is exactly what some people say galvanizes voters to come out and support Trump. The fact that so many people are saying, listen, they take it at him in a personal way. They're really looking at him. And Trump voters say, he's not being taken seriously, and we're going to the polls.
Well, that's the fundamental challenge with Trump. People are looking past all the factual evidence, they're looking past all the criticism, and they're forming a personal relationship with Trump himself. And they're doing it through Twitter, they're doing it through his reality TV shows, and this, again, shows the impact of celebrity on our politics. Because what Trump has done is he's demonstrated that he's able to go around all the gatekeepers of politics. And that's highly unusual. The gatekeepers are there for a reason, because they keep the Kim Kardashians out of politics. They keep the Kanye West out of politics. And so with the gatekeepers not functioning, now we're seeing a person who is not credible in any way as president, and yet people are still supporting him.
Question is right now, Michael, if Donald Trump is able to make it to the convention and he doesn't reach a certain amount of delegates as needed, the talk of having a contested convention, what does that mean for the Republican Party?
Well, it means the party was probably fracture the leadership and then the folks at the grassroots, folks who they built over the last 7, 8 years with this belief and this constant mantra that government is bad, Obama's bad, things are getting worse. And so they actually believe them, and they're voting that way. I mean, sticking to the reality TV effort, I mean, this whole Republican nomination has been Survivor, it's been American Idol. All the good folks are getting knocked off, and they're going with the guy who's been the most cunning, the most glib, and he's winning. And I don't think there'll be a contested convention. The guy's going to win it. He's going to go all the way through.
Michael, I hope there is.
I know, I agree with you. We would like it to be. But then again, for a Democrat, I'd love to see your party fracture at a convention.
No, I don't think it'd be wholesome. Can I tell you, I don't think you benefit from it. I don't think the Bronx benefits. I don't think the country benefits from a fractured Republican Party.
Actually, no, it does benefit.
It does not. I disagree. We do.
We need a multi-party system. That's what we're getting. The Republican Party is 2 parties in one, and it's taken Donald Trump to show us that. It deserves to be 2 parties right now. The Constitution Party, the Libertarian Party, we need multiple parties, not 2 parties.
Yeah, but the system system is still set up for 2 parties, because even if they go a third-party route, third-party candidate is going to draw votes from the Republicans, and they're definitely going to lose the White House. They're probably going to lose the Senate. So a fractured party would be good for the Democrats for that to happen.
I don't think
it's not good for America for that sort of thing to happen. And it's a chicken's coming home to roost. You spent 7 years downgrading the president, downgrading the nation.
He keeps saying that every show.
These guys are actually voting what you've told them to vote.
Darren, he keeps saying this every show. The reality is this: you have a candidate no, but that's not true. Okay, you have a candidate in the Republican Party.
No,
Marty says, hold up. He says he's not credible. Absolutely. He's not a credible presidential candidate. He's not a credible Republican. The man has donated hundreds, if not millions of dollars to the Democratic Party and got Democrats elected at every single level of government. He gave Pelosi back the House. He gave the Senate back the Dems. He supported Hillary Clinton twice. And here Michael Benjamin is saying, oh, the chickens are home to roost. Cruz. This is a man that's been supporting your party this whole time. He's not a Republican. The man is a celebrity. He doesn't speak our issues. He doesn't speak like a Republican. He doesn't have Republican principles. The man is just he came in and has our party held hostage.
Well,
Let
let me ask this question here then. What does that mean on a local front? Because when you have a person like Donald Trump, if he's presumed to win the nomination, then you have local races. And you'll have a lot of people going out to the polls for local races. What do you think this is going to mean locally?
I think as far as New York City is concerned, this is a Democratic town. Now we're looking at 6-1 Democrat to Republican. It means very little for everyone else. Hillary Clinton is going to win New York City big. As far as upstate New York, I'm sure there are parts where Trump is popular and there's parts where he's really despised. I'll tell you this. However, in places where there's swing voters, he's polling at 81% unfavorable in the Upper East Side. Just think about that for a second. This is a man that really has no business running for president of the United States. I'm in shock this morning still that this guy may go into the convention with the majority of delegates. Now, Michael says there's no way there's going to be a brokered convention or a contested convention. I think there is a shot. And if he doesn't have 1,237 votes, it's going to be a second ballot. And it's on that second ballot that you're going to see delegates that were supporting Marco, that were supporting Kasich, that are and are going to join with Cruz. And we may see Senator Ted Cruz come in and win on the second ballot for the nomination. Now, we all know that, Senator Cruz is a little too conservative for my taste, but I'd rather have a Senator Ted Cruz than a guy who has the support of the KKK and David Duke.
But the one thing is, reality is Donald Trump has been winning despite everything we've talked about. What the reality of politics is, what it ought to be. His voters are voting for him, and I believe it's going to continue. It's as I said, it's American Idol, it's Survivor. The fittest, the wittiest, the most cunning is going to win, and that's going to be Donald Trump.
Well, let me just jump here, and I got to switch sides, and Mariah, I'll let you start off with this one here. We got to go to the Democratic side. Of course, Hillary Clinton winning big. Now, many people thought that after Bernie Sanders had that upset win in Michigan, this would carry over yesterday. Any surprise for you?
Not really. The surprise is that Bernie Sanders did not win Ohio, but there's probably a lot of Democratic voters who switch over to Kasich to support him. So what you have is a map that favored Clinton for the past few weeks with the South. Now it favors Sanders. So as the map goes to the Northeast and the West Coast, you're going to see a lot of Sanders strengths come out. And you're going to probably see California deciding this in June because a lot of Sanders supporters there. And we're really seeing the possibility of a broker convention even on the Democratic side too. That's going to be highly unusual to have two broker conventions at the exact same time.
I see JC say disagree. Mike, you say agree? Let me see.
It's quite a possibility, but the important thing I think for New Yorkers is that April 19th becomes important for once. New York becomes an important player in a Democratic nomination. So I see them spending a lot of money here, spending a lot of money in California. Hillary has institutional support. She could possibly eke it out. It all depends on, she's beginning to adopt the Sanders campaign message. So it'll be about who can get the message out and then deliver their voters to the polls. But I think Ohio, the Democrats who voted Republican primary were Hillary voters, not Sanders voters. Sanders voters probably would have voted for Trump.
I'm going to take a quick break and come back. JC's going to start us off in our next segment, and we'll be right back right after this.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah. The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my terrorists, don't compare us.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to try?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's up? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck.
The 60s, and they are running to the polls. And we're back here on Open. We got to continue our conversation. JC Polanco, a lot being said off camera, but let me start with you. As we talk about the Democrats, and I know you don't like to talk about the Democrats, but you do like to talk about the Democrats. Yes, you have some friends. But let me talk about the Bernie Sanders factor, because a lot of people saying that, as Mariah has said, this could possibly be the upswing for Bernie Sanders. Do you still give him a shot?
No, not at all. I think Bernie's done. It would have been nice to see a brokered convention and the infighting that we're having on their side. It would have been really good, actually. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Hillary has, decades of support. We're talking about decades of national institutional support. She has super delegates that Bernie does not have. And I think it's going to be very difficult for Bernie Sanders to win, not having won anything last night. I just think the numbers aren't there for Bernie, like the numbers aren't there for Kasich, for example. There's some people that just need to drop out. I think this is a good time for Bernie to leave. It's a good time for Kasich to leave and see what can happen in the remainder of the months left before the convention.
But there are those that say it's about bringing a message out to the public to begin to shape the platforms of both the Republican Party and the platform of the Democratic Party. Of the Democrats becoming more left, more about how do we end this the inequality in America. Today is the 52nd anniversary of the war on poverty. And in the last 52 years, it would appear that the forces of inequality have been winning. And I think the Democrats have begun to address that again.
I want to tell you, I had a conversation with some people from Washington Insiders on the way in, talking about right now, today, there's even calling Bernie Sanders and saying, after yesterday's results, this may be a time that you might want to begin to concede. Good strategy, bad strategy?
Bad strategy. Because Obama was in the exact same position as Sanders at this same point in 08. So Obama went all the way through the primaries and the caucuses. Clinton has conceded after the California primary in June. So we're seeing that Sanders is playing the Obama playbook, and he's playing it very well. He's capturing the same demographics and coalition.
I don't know. Did he have the same second Super Tuesday result of all the states? I don't think.
Well,
that's
one
right.
thing is very clear. One thing is very clear is that when it comes to blacks, Latinos, strongly favoring Hillary Clinton. When you talk about younger voters are definitely going Bernie Sanders' way. What's going to need to be done for Bernie Sanders in order to turn this thing around?
He's got to get older voters to trust him and want making the president. He has to get his peer group to see him as a president if he wants to win the successive states.
But
I think what's happening, what you're noticing is that all the polls are showing that is breaking down men favoring Bernie, women and minorities favoring Hillary. Now it comes down to who's turning out to vote. And, males are outnumbered. Hillary, I believe, will, in the end, pull it out. And then the party will have to come together and then address these fissures that are in the party, whether it's the fissures between the younger generation, the millennials, and the rest of us, between men and women, and what we're going to do to begin to break the glass ceiling and bring more women into it and have men comfortable to have women leading them. I think that's the problem for a great many men.
In the defense of the superdelegates and the Democratic establishment, which I never thought I'd do here, I mean, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's just not. He's running at a Democratic primary. I mean, think about it. And I cannot believe that a Democratic queen maker, if you will, like Hillary Clinton, is actually having to negotiate this nomination with a guy who's not even a Democrat.
Well,
it speaks to her candidacy. It speaks to how flawed she is. This is a candidate that's been rejected in the past. Who has staffers under investigation for? Well, no. This is I don't. I'm not. Remember, I'm not that guy. But let's be honest. No, you have staffers under investigation, granted immunity while they're investigating whether or not she was.
He's being questioned.
What witness for what? I mean, you just don't get called in for a witness because you were buying Mrs. Softy ice cream cones.
The government talking points here.
No. Just be honest. No. I am a Republican, but these aren't talking points.
in.
The reality is you have a flawed candidate, man, and she's negotiating with a dude that's not even a Democrat.
Let me ask the question.
One other thing I'm sorry I wanted to make clear is that many Democrats, myself included, started off as Democratic socialists within the Democratic Party. So there's always been a socialist strain in the Democratic Party. Bernie was independent out of Vermont because they allow that. He decided he wanted to caucus with the Democrats. That happens. In this New York State Assembly, we have an Independence Party member who caucuses with the Democrats. Yeah,
but the key here is
politics.
Bernie Sanders has tapped into the central problem the country's facing: increasing inequality because of globalization enriching the 1%. That is the central defining theme of this entire election, and that is the message that is capturing his voters.
And Trump voters.
And Trump voters. Those two candidates, Trump and Sanders, are both addressing that central problem. And Sanders is bringing Clinton to the left to fix that. So whoever fixes that problem will be able to capture the coalition to address the presidency and the Congress simultaneously.
Yeah,
well,
but part of the Trump coalition now are racists who aren't adjusting themselves to the changing demographics in America.
Yeah.
Well, because you have the Syracuse pin, you got the last word. Okay? Michael Benjamin.
We're going to win on Friday.
All right. Yes, we hope so. J.C. Blanco, Mariah Starr, Michael Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, they will continue to break down all the latest that's going on in the political world here for us. So tune in every Wednesday up until that fateful day in November where we break down the latest in all political action. Got to take a quick break, but we're going to do this first. There were some artists that gathered at the Longwood Art Gallery for the Bronx Africa exhibition. It's called Meet the Artists, and they had the opportunity to show off their photographs as well as participate in a panel discussion featuring their work. BronxNet reporter Veronica Guiti has more.